Today's episode of the Farrell Podcast is brought to you today by Cobb's Tap Room and Terrace. Cobb's Tap Room and Terrace, 787 Mercer Grove City Road, Mercer, PA. Dining hours are as follows: Monday and Tuesday close, Wednesday and Thursday 12 to 9, Friday and Saturday 12 to 10, and Sunday 12 to 8. For reservations, please call 724 269 7687. That's Talbot's Tap Room and Terrace, 787 Mercer Grove City Road, Mercer, PA. And now let's start the show.
Welcome to season 3 of the Farrell Podcast, episode 5. I am the leader of the Ballhead Nation, the mayor, the landlord himself, Mont P. And to my left, I have my brother. You want to introduce yourself, brother? I know that everybody already know, but
I'm Reverend Barksdale-Hall, and I'm the director of the Farrell Public Library. Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. And it's your man, DJ Rich Stacks, the man with all the snacks. How was your weekend, gentlemen?
uh, I had a good weekend. I got a chance to watch some football and some basketball and just getting it in on my sports. Had a chance to kick back and do a little relaxation myself and pretty much just same stuff, different day with me myself. How about yourself, Mr. Roland, Reverend Roland Barksdale?
Well, we had a great time. We was rapping and rhyming at the stage. We were looking at The Talk by the cartoonist Darren Bell, and we had the youth. We had some of everyone there.
Oh,
Community engagement.
that's lovely. That's dope. That's
Yes,
dope
sir.
stuff. Dope stuff.
Yes, sir. I wish I could have been in attendance, but unfortunately, the grind don't never stop. This guy right here had the pleasure of cooking for Valentine's Day at my gig, Applebee's in Hermitage. Fat shout out to the crew out there. We are short on the staff, and we got 4 cooks total, and all 4 cooks knocked out to work with the help of the management staff. Me and Nick got a chance to go out this weekend. Fat shout out to my beautiful fiance Nikki. We got a chance to go check out Dave and Buster's over in the Eastwood Mall. It was a nice weekend. And then we had dinner at Longhorn since they put that over there. And I swear to goodness, I think I seen Larry Graham, Drake's dad, at Longhorn. It looked like him. At least it looked like the mustache. And he came out of a nice vehicle. But it was a real good weekend this weekend.
Oh, that was great, 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 great.
Yes, sir.
Since the last time we had a show, the Super Bowl that just came and went. We're a week removed from that, but I just wanted to talk about the game real quick. The game was great. Philly had a game plan. They stuck with it.
Mhm.
The game was won in the trenches. Uh, Philly's offensive line, the defensive line really set the tone. They got really physical. They got after it.
Oh, yeah.
Defensively, they sacked that man like 6 times. Sweat led the charge. Jalen Carter and those guys made multiple plays. The linebackers was out there getting it in. They really gave it to Kansas City. And then on the offensive side, in the trenches, they held the pocket and formed that pocket and held up a good wall for Jalen Hurts to get the passes out, open up a few lanes for running, and really executed plays and got it done and in a great fashion and shut KC down and dang thing.
All the KC haters had a good time that Super Bowl, but let's talk about what everybody was really talking about.
Oh
At halftime,
Yes, sir.
yeah. What did you think, Mr. Reverend Roland? How do you feel about that? Did you check it out?
yes, well, I saw Uncle Sam there.
Mhm.
Mm, red, white, and blue was on display there.
Yes,
It was a strong message.
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah, yeah.
And I cannot get why. Okay, I get certain demographic of people not getting it, but within our community, I thought more people would get it that didn't get it.
It just wasn't for everybody,
Nah.
and I just feel like some people was looking to be entertained, and some people just wasn't, and that's just pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah,
For
but I
me,
think it.
for myself, that's my little take on it.
Yes, sir.
And
Like,
people that knew. what that man was about.
Hmm.
It was projected that he was going to be performing. People know the content of what he raps about. Kind of figured what the playlist was going to be off of the new music that he had just released. So, and the people that didn't care for it and knew they didn't care for it upon it even happening, just watched it to complain. So it is what it is, and people are entitled to their judgment.
Yeah, everybody's favorite, but I think it was one of the best halftime performances of all time. The symbology behind it, let a whole lot of people who had a whole lot of things to say, but I like the performance.
What made you think back to KRS-One
Yeah, that's
and it's the spirituals,
Hmm.
and there's supposed to be a strong message in
indeed.
our music.
Hmm. And the right message. We
Yes.
were talking post show that some people say that the music industry was set up to be a direct pipeline through some of the music that was going out there for young men that live in urban areas to go to the prison by promoting a negative message. They really didn't mess with hip hop. They thought it was going to be a fading genre, but hip hop controls most of the popular thinking across the globe right now.
Yeah, but even too when we were coming up, because I'm 50, and we was talking about this with season 2 or 1 about hip hop getting to be 50.
Yeah,
So, and in that time, from the time it started to up until now, but originally when it started, it was multiple. Topics being rapped about. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
had rappers like NWA that talked about gang
Oh yeah,
stuff, and but that was like they were
it
giving
was
their
coming from a
perspective from
standpoint.
where they lived at. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And then you had East Coast rappers that was rapping about what was going on in the ghettos and streets of New York. You know what I mean? Which is similar, and it was kind of violent here and there. So I mean. Always have been placed upon us, but we had a variety. It
yep.
wasn't just totally just uh every rapper just beating it down into the ground with it. We had diversity, we had
It wasn't
uh
oversaturated.
yeah,
Yeah,
oversaturated. We had digital underground. So we had a plethora of different artists talking about different things. So you know it wasn't just in our face every day when you turn on the radio
And
or
like you said,
video.
they wasn't really probably glorifying it. They was just talking about their environment and what was going on from what they seen from their young guys. Because remember, NWA and them, they was like
young
teenagers.
teenagers. Yeah,
The mind of a child and the mind of an adult is different things. So like
indeed.
they just going off of what they saw, what
Hmm.
they grew up around.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, made me think of like rap and rhyme, and in uh, Chirac,
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
Gwendolyn Brooks, she would look right out her window, and she would write like, "We real cool.
Uh huh.
We left school. We die soon.
That's rap right there.
Jazz June."
Hmm.
Yes, uh, those rhythms, and that's part of the vibes in the community.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right and true. But I think that people were pleased with the All Star Weekend performance.
Oh yeah.
And they
Yeah.
hey, when they had Too Short, E40,
40.
you know, those were different party artists. It was upbeat, you know what I mean? And the NBA All Star Weekend wasn't that bad either,
No.
to some didn't like it, some did. I seen something to where it was only like uh I think like less than or maybe up to a half hour of basketball only played in the
In the
total
whole game.
in the whole game,
Yeah.
the whole segment. I'm like, geez,
It was more entertaining.
it was.
Yeah.
Those games were a little bit more competitive than what
Yeah.
we have seen in the past years. You know, people may not have agreed with the format, but um, when it was being picked, me and Lamont was watching it, and Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck when they were picking their teams. Me and Lamont said that man, Shaq team probably gonna win it because he had all the OGs, you know what I mean? The experienced guys. We were looking at it like that. Like these guys is proven all stars. Uh, dang near everybody on that roster had been to a championship,
Oh yeah.
deep in the playoffs, so they knew. So
And then any team you got Steph Curry on,
yeah,
I'm
come
just
on, man,
saying it.
come on,
Oh man.
yeah, yeah,
Come on. How Lil Boosie said, "Come on, man."
yeah, yeah. So it was a good NBA All Star weekend.
Oh yeah.
Rib, did you get a chance to check that out? The NBA All Star weekend this weekend?
No, I didn't. I was all involved with my lovely wife.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes.
That's great, great, great,
Beautiful.
great. Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
with
sir.
the basketball, it made me think of LeBron James and how he's taken that capital and he's investing in his community.
Community,
Yeah,
indeed. Yes,
yeah,
He's
sir.
paying for those young people to go to school.
yeah,
And he's working with the same young brothers that he grew up with.
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's
That is,
special.
yeah, that's what we
Black excellence
need.
at its finest.
Lead by example. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Absolutely. That's exactly what it's all about. Because we always talk about and have talked about or special students, that have special qualities and talents that have learned a special skill set and went on to college to further that and come back with great degrees or acquire a degree. Sometimes everybody's not meant to leave and just stay away. It's meant for you to come back and uh, 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 provide a service and tap into your community. It don't even have to be monetary. It could be
No.
applying what you know from a degree that you've learned and providing a resource to help make your community better. So, yeah,
Facts.
I do commend LeBron for leading by example and doing that. And I just, would convey to our students, like I always do, make sure you pour back into your community, because adults still need villages as well.
Hmm. But y'all know a lot. Y'all know a lot of stuff about technology that us older ones don't.
Right.
And I need the help from my daughters, my kids, my grandbabies sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of our goals, like at the library.
Mhm.
I got this grant and we received technology every month.
What's up?
But my goal is to see our young people create their own app.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Well, what? How do you How do you need help in promoting that? Because see, I love that right there. What can we do, the Farrell Podcast, to help get the word out and promote that, and help you to further that and make that a real thing for sure. How can we help?
Well,
Oh yeah.
one of our goals was to have people from the community to come to the library and promote reading. And so we've had business people, we've had moms and dads, everyone to come because the children do what they see the leaders doing.
Hmm.
And the other thing we really wanted to have, like with this technology, because we got iPads, we got, uh, there was something called the hummingbird. I thought it was going to be a bird that would fly, but
I would have
it,
thought so
It
too.
was too.
You see.
but it was more like a motor.
Hmm.
And you can program it so that just like with a fan, you could program the degrees that it would go back and
Oh,
forth.
okay.
And that was something out of Carnegie Mellon University.
Wow.
And
That's
here
awesome.
we had it right at Farrell. And there was meetings with people from London, England,
Hmm.
because the schools over there, they have their young people learning how to create apps.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we want to be happening right here at Farrell. There's big money in creating apps.
Absolutely.
And we
Yep.
got the great minds right here at our schools
Yes.
Yep.
and
Yep.
at
Yes.
our stay home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The library, Farrell State and Event Library, is definitely a safe haven. As us as children growing up, it was always someplace where you can go and get help with your homework. If you was having problems with math, reading, especially reading, because I will be the first to tell you, I'm one of those readers. I get nervous when I have to read aloud. In my head, I can read perfect, split timing. But when you read aloud, the nervousness comes out and you stumble over your words sometimes. So it helps to
Hmm.
have help with that when you're at a younger age and see that you're not the only one that might have that issue.
Did you know that they look at reading scores and they're planning the prisons, how many more beds they would need in the prisons
Based off of reading scores.
off of reading scores.
Didn't know that.
And this is one
I didn't know
reason.
that. That's profound.
This is one reason why we said we were going to have our children read. And then I said, well, um, they're coming from school and sometimes they have lunch early. I says, well, how about every time they read, they can get a snack, they can get a reward
Hmm.
because we want our children to be free and we want them to walk in greatness.
Yes, sir. But it all makes sense now. Project 2025 is written. They want to defund education. Why? Because if you defund education, you got more free labor that's coming from the industrial pipeline.
Dang, so reading is just more because remember they had to say the saying, and we still say it today. Reading
Reading
is
is fundamental,
no, reading is fundamental, critical, and crucial.
crucial.
Now,
Indeed.
add that on there.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
definitely got to learn that it was illegal for our ancestors to be able to read when they were brought to this country. You weren't supposed to be able to know how to read, and if you did, it would unalive you. Is what kids say nowadays.
Yeah, that's what Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
He talked about uh, this sweet mistress, and she started to teach him to read, and she found out that she shouldn't be doing that,
Hmm.
and how she changed. And he was just saying that that corrupted her.
Hmm.
But it wasn't just reading. The first thing was the drum.
Yeah.
The drum, because we had many languages, but the drum, there was the battle cry of the drum,
Hmm.
and the drum was universal language. So they outlawed the drum, they outlawed reading,
Hmm.
but yet we still moved forward and we resisted. And that's the part that we really need to get in this hour, that
Resistance.
resistance to oppression.
Indeed. And it's funny to me that you have somebody that comes from South Africa that is basically me. I'm just gonna say it. Elon Musk is the president, y'all. If y'all can't see that, yeah, it, he's allegedly he's the president. You heard what that man's son told the president of the United States. The fix has been in. It's been in. Politicians have been getting bought off from Washington, but it's official now.
Yeah, yeah. There's gotta we gotta tighten up, and like how we said in previous shows, it's very very important for us to start collecting information, being aware of what's going on, and strategizing so we can mobilize to be in a position to act out in the manner that we need to act out as things start to roll out. And
Hmm.
then when I say act out, I'm not saying like in a violent riot type of January 6th type of Trump type of thing. No, I'm talking about we got to win up here.
Yep,
That's where it's at.
that's what the key
So we just
battle
need to
is.
be focused on being prepared and tap in and utilize our resources and form solid coalitions. That's what it's all about. And that's just my thoughts on
Yep.
the situation that's moving forward in our current state of what we're living in as far as the government pertains to.
Yeah, because my whole thing is if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Every time.
Don't be just a talker, be a
No,
doer.
you got to be a doer.
That's our history. Uh, I think about Fannie Lou Hamer.
Hmm.
She was beaten for trying to sign people up
Yes, sir.
to
To
vote.
vote.
But
Yes, sir.
then over in Africa, let's look at Brother Nelson Mandela. He was imprisoned, but yet they couldn't stop him.
Mm-mm.
That justice will rule. And he came out from being imprisoned
Yeah.
to becoming president of their
For
country.
sure.
But he kept his mind tight and he was focused. And
Mhm.
that's what we need to do,
Yep.
is stay focused.
Focus. Yeah, because through the chaos, see, it's all distractions. You got a man that's saying that he was giving his heart to the people. No, I've seen that before. That's familiar. It was the tyrant that ran a country over in Germany we fought a Second World War about, and you got this man in the White House making declarations in the house that y'all hold so dear. To make that salute is disrespectful, not only to people of Jewish descent, but to the soldiers of this country that died and fought in that war. I mean,
I don't
I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't either. It's President's Day.
Yeah.
And we think about Thomas Jefferson and
Mhm.
Sally Hemings.
Yep.
It's President's Day.
Yes, sir.
It's President's Day. I acknowledge three: JFK, Bill Clinton. Well, no, we'll add four: Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was a great president. That I acknowledge four of those presidents on this day. The rest of them, part of the hypocrisy.
Rev, who do you think of when President's Day come up? If any president, who do you revere or look to? Like,
Well, Jimmy Carter,
hmm,
I read all of his book,
Yes, sir.
and he was really about change.
Hmm.
He wanted to uh, have better racial relations in his community, and they actually was going to try to shut down his business, his peanut business over that.
Peanut farm.
wow,
Yeah, and so that's really where it starts. It starts in our daily living.
Yes, sir.
yeah, it does, it does. And earlier you spoke of Richard having the people's heart, and
Yeah.
that brings us to a minute with Mark P. My
Yes, sir.
segment of a minute with Mark P. And speaking of the people having his heart or having the heart of the people, my tribute and minute with Mark P goes out to Coach Bugsy Brown, Coach Robert Bugsy Brown, one of the greats. Here in the picture, you see featured Coach Donnie Miller, Coach Bugsy Brown, and Mr. Roy Samuels. Three of the greats.
Yes, sir.
Coach Robert James Bugsy Brown. He was one of the greats, one of the most winningest coach in the Shenango Valley Midget Football League. He led us Farrell Steelers on to many, 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 many great championships. So, fast shout out to Coach Robert Bugsy Brown. We love you. You will be missed. He changed the lives of so many, many, many,
Many.
many young men and helped put us on the path to being great men. He changed boys to men, led us in the right way, taught us a lot of great morals, values, um, discipline, made us mentally tough, and gave us a lot of great values in life and, showed us the way along with, showing us how to play winning football. If it wasn't
Hmm.
for him, a lot of us would have never had the love for football. So, fast shout out to Coach Bugsy. We love you. The community thanks you. We give you your flowers today, and we greatly appreciate you. And this minute with Mom P is brought to you by our sponsor, La Palmas. Viva Felix. Viva La Palma. La Palma restaurant over in Brookfield, located in Brookfield, Majorie, Ohio, where they have delicious drink specials, great menu items. When the summertime hits, you can go sit out on the patio, have you a cold, delicious drink, and a nice hot entree made with the freshest of ingredients. And that's at La Palma's Restaurant over on Brookfield, Majorie, Ohio. Pull up to La Palma's and tell them, hey, the Farrell Podcast sent me, and ask for Felix. Viva La Felix, Viva La Palma Restaurants.
Sir. Yeah, man. It's time for the other segment.
Oh, what you got?
In the booth with DJ Rich Stacks. This episode of In the Booth with DJ Rich Stacks is brought to you by the good people at the NAACP. Make sure you join up. Make sure you get your lifetime membership. Get it together. one of the oldest NAACP chapters in the country.
That's right, Mercer County NAACP, the chapter
270.
2273.
Yes,
Get at
sir.
them. And like he said, make sure you get you a membership. It can be a monthly membership, it can be a lifetime membership. Membership is important, you
Yes,
know.
sir.
I've got a lifetime membership in the NAACP.
You do?
And yes,
Yeah, let's go.
yes.
With, with
And
with test-
I have about 10 books. And I got started with history. My dad, he's asked me, he said, "Do you want this?" He was holding up the Crisis magazine,
Hmm.
and he purchased for me like about 30 Black history books.
Man.
And that got me started. And so I give a shout out to my dad and to the
CP.
NAACP.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
And thank everybody at the NAACP for the hard work that y'all do for
Thank
our
you.
community.
Thank you.
Indeed. This in the booth with Rich Stacks, we're going to feature my main man, No Love. No Love has a brand new project on all streaming platforms. You go out there and check it out. I listened to it this weekend on Apple Music.
And
Um,
check him out on Brody's mic drops.
oh
He
yeah,
has
mic
several mic
drops.
drops on
Some of the
Brody's
hottest
mic
mic
drops.
drops.
Yeah,
Some of
several.
the album is titled "If I See You Again." Um, 12 joints, 56 minutes, about 56 minutes long. A no skipper for me. I didn't skip not one song. I've been listening to it the whole weekend, cleaning my crib, riding when me and Nick went out this weekend. But definitely give my man No Love a listen. And the album is called If I See You Again, released 2025 February. Also in music news, I want to send a fat shout out to my man JB Swift up there in Detroit. He's working on a new project. He always got solid type material, old school boom bap hip hop. My favorite. Fat shout to K7 and my man Rob Brand. They're working on the newest version with JB Swift for the preservation. Can't wait till it comes out. Fat shout to local talent. We got the community is definitely blessed with talent.
And that Jacquees and Deja Loaf was pretty
Oh
nice
yeah,
too. You
that's a
know,
nice one
they
too.
got a quality project. My man Raheem Devine dropped a new album out.
Yep, yep.
He always drop around Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day,
He always
indeed.
make good R&B love music. So tap in with him.
Hmm.
West Side Gun, you know, he
Got a
dropped
brand
something
new
new this
project.
weekend. Yeah, so excuse me. Tap in with those artists. Check out some good music. You know, we love good music here on the Farrell Podcast. And here on the Farrell Podcast, we want to motivate, educate, inspire,
And
and entertain.
entertain.
And
For sure.
also power to the people. When you
When you
see
see me,
me,
you
you
see
see
you.
you. Yes, sir.
Bars.
Oh, okay. You already know.
Jackie Reed said, "Knowledge is power."
That's
Yes,
right. What's
sir.
up, sis?
Each
Love
one
you.
teach one,
That's right.
sis.
And
For
dad
sure.
was an avid reader all the time. He had books on top of books on top of books. Bubba, what's happening, bruh? How you feeling
How
today,
you
bruh?
doing?
Thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate you for tuning in each and every week, whether it be a Monday night or a Saturday morning. We greatly appreciate you, man. Keep tuning in, liking, commenting, sharing, and everything. And also, we'd like to thank everyone that tunes in to the A Minute with Mon P Mukbang Edition.
Oh yeah.
And any restaurant, if you're tuning in, tap in, hit us up. We can come to your restaurant and do a Minute with Mon P Mukbang as well. We doing them. We come and giving reviews, coming to get a tasty eat and rest our feet in those spots. So come on, hit us up. You know, we travel.
You know when I want to line up,
We'll
bro?
travel for good food.
You know a mukbang I want to line up, and it's a restaurant that got an item that you have on the menu. The reopening of the Farrell Pizzeria is this week coming up. You might have to stop through there tomorrow.
Hey fam, hit me up. Hit us up.
Yes,
Hit us
sir.
up for sponsorship and for us to come down there and do a little, you know, taste mukbang with you.
Oh
Hit
yeah.
us up, famo. I know you tuning in. Hit us up. You got the number. Let's do something. Let's link up. You know we love you down at the Furrow Pizzeria.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I made when they opened, I told him that I was going to come there
Hmm.
every week and buy a pizza
Yes, sir.
because we got to invest in our
Yes,
home.
sir.
Oh yeah, for
And so
sure.
I would get a veggie pizza
Uh huh.
or That's what we got to do.
And
You got to invest
Yeah.
in your
yep,
home.
Yes, sir. I was
we got
going
a
so much. I got a menu item on there.
on there. He got his
Monkey
own menu
special.
item.
Yeah, yes,
Yep.
sir. I was going so much. Yeah, they, it's a
Salt the mayor, ain't it?
Breakfast
small
cookies.
personal pan pizza with what is it? Pepperoni, sausage, and banana peppers. Yeah, yeah. You
Podcast
gotta
P
try
pizza.
it.
Got
You
to
gotta
do.
try it. It's called the Monty Special.
Yep.
I'm on there. Yeah, yeah. Check me out, Rev. Check it out.
Go to the Farrell Pizzeria and order the one piece special.
That's
You
right.
heard it here.
And tell them Podcast P sent you.
Yes, sir. Hit him up. Hit him up. Tupac say I hit
And
him
he
up.
supports the library too. He was
Oh
a
yes.
coupon for to the children, and we appreciate him.
Yep.
So
We got to keep it
hit him
going.
up.
Like I don't think we understand. Like for the most part, none of our money stays within our community. If we did that, we would have a whole lot more. If we spent with each other.
And we can.
Yeah.
And Facebook is our directory. You know what I mean? It it's somebody within our community that's capable of doing any and everything that you need. The only thing that we missing right now, I'm gonna be real and keep it real, is a black owned and run and operated grocery store. That's the only thing that we missing out on. Other than that, you know, we can get it cracking. But we do have several community gardens in
Mhm.
our community. That's a start. You know what I mean?
We
If
have one
one
right
can be
down at the
more
library.
developed, yeah, it's one right on alongside of the library. But that's a start.
And just to think, we had Delaney's grocery store.
Hmm.
Mhm.
This was a black-owned grocery store, and it was right on Market Avenue.
Yeah,
And the Hellstalks, they had sweet potato pies, and
Mhm.
that's what we need to go back to.
we're on the way back.
Yes,
We're on the way back. The Farrell Podcast is on this committee down at the city building. And right now, we're responsible for bringing the entertainment
Entertainment.
to the city for
Yep.
any festival or any outing event that they have. But we're also going to play an integral part in helping to continue to build up the community as far as bringing in businesses.
Mhm.
And the people look around, they didn't do Idaho just to do it. They did that for a reason. That's
Listen,
the outlay and the blueprint for businesses to come back up and line back up on Idaho, and also Martin Luther King Boulevard and any other place in the city. But that's where it's going to start at. Everything was for a reason. People was talking about, oh, they tearing everything down, it's looking like a ghost town, and it's nothing there. Hey, you got to destroy before you elevate. It was
yeah,
always a
you gotta
plan. It was
build and
always a
destroy.
plan. Now line up.
because communications
Yes, sir.
is the center.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And if they want to take the community down, they disrupt the communications.
Yes, sir.
And so you're building because we got to connect.
Yep.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's why I came here to connect.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Indeed. That's why we wanted to have you on the show because, like I was saying pre-show, I had the pleasure of DJing down there at Juneteenth and presentation that the youth were given and the knowledge that you imparted on them. Said we got to get him lined up for the show and have him on here to impart that knowledge onto our audience.
And which
So,
brings us to, since we're going to connect it up and line it up, let's connect and line it up right now. And
yes, sir.
that brings us to the interview segment of the show.
Yes, sir. Indeed. Reverend Roland Barksdale-Hall, Sharon graduate, went on to attend Pitt College and got his BS in biology and also a master's in library science. Um, Here we go. Mr. Barksdale's resume is extensive.
Yes, sir.
I want to surmise.
Sir.
Roland Barksdale Hall is a multifaceted leader in education, community service, and genealogy. He holds multiple notable roles. President of JAH, International Barksdale Hall Educational Services and Training, Vice President of Black Men for Progress, National Youth Director for Frontiers International Incorporated. His contributions to historical and genealogy are significant. Director of Publications for Afro American Historical and Genealogy Society. He was a recipient 2014 of the AAHGS James Dent Walker Award, which is a high and prestigious honor. Founding publisher of the Alleghenian and the Health Reporter, founder of the executive director of African American Historical and Genealogical Society in Pittsburgh. Um, he is and has served as Peabody Librarian at Hampton University, um, graduate from the Leadership Shenango Valley class of 1995, and studied leadership at Duquesne University.
I feel like I'm on 60 Minutes.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you're,
Or
you're,
investigative
yeah.
journalist.
Sir.
We try to do as much research as we can because these are accolades that if kids see these, they can attain the same accolade.
Yes, sir.
It's greatness. It's
Yes,
black
sir.
excellence. We applaud you.
Yes, sir.
And here at the Farrell Podcast, we try to get the flowers to those deserving and out here making a difference in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, there's many more accolades, but I want to get to the interview part. Um, ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Roland Barksdale-Hall.
Yes,
Thank
Thank you for
you.
coming on the show,
sir.
sir.
Thank
We
you. Thank
really
you. I really appreciate you.
really appreciate you coming on and guest hosting with us.
I got something else I wanted to add. I don't know if you remember it, but you were my teacher at one point at YSU, and I had Africana Studies, right? But you had a book. You're an author as well, right?
Yes, indeed.
It was about like the history of Pharaoh, and my grandmother is in that book. So I'm like, that's cool. As you get, because she was an Eastern Star. You know what I mean?
Do you remember how I started the class?
I cannot. I'm not even gonna lie.
Well,
But I do remember.
well, I told them that I'm not the flim flam man. That that I believe that you're here for greatness
Yes, sir.
and that your family's behind you. And so we would set it up so that we would have a contract. What
Mhm.
grade you wanted to have? And I told them,
I do remember that.
yeah,
That's
that
a
there's
great. That was
that.
a while ago.
And I told them, and if any of you aren't living up to the contract, that I'm gonna pull you to side. And, and I did it.
Yes, sir.
And I did it with some of the Pharaoh sons and daughters.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
And and we had our little conversation. And I said, I know your mom, I know your dad, I know your grandparents, and you're not gonna come in my class and not leave without an A and some knowledge.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Thank you.
Was it-
Yeah,
Thank
Great
you.
teacher.
hold feet to fire.
yeah.
You got to hold the feet to the fire sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
That was a
much.
full circle moment for me right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Like that's crazy. He on the show now and he was a teacher at once. Crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, and
Yep.
it came right into life
Hmm.
to
He's
motivate, inspire,
educate
educate, and
and
entertain.
entertain.
That's what we doing here at the Furrow
Yep.
Podcast. That's wonderful. You guys had a 360 moment with that.
Everybody meet everybody for a reason. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Praise the Lord.
it's
Yes.
great. It's greatness. And a lot of times, uh, we might talk about these accolades, but then I'm talking about, well, what is it that you're doing
Hmm.
with
With
this?
those.
Because we all have uh, a circle of influence,
Hmm.
and we need to use it. And so, like when I went to the University of Pittsburgh and got started,
Hmm.
we as young people uh, started tutoring, and we had a tutoring program up at the Hill District,
Hmm.
and we had Edwin Hawkins to come, and it was a sold out concert, and I became president of our campus Christian outreach ministry.
Yes, sir.
But it's passion to serve. And we've got to get involved because we want them to read so that they can become leaders.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
And that's who you are. You're leaders.
Do y'all hear that? That's knowledge right there.
Yes, sir.
Leaders
That's
and motivators.
yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
We have a friend of the show, and he a member of the show, not a friend of the show. Keegan, and he made a comment. Where are the elders? This generation's elders. We're the generation's elders now. It's time for us to impart the knowledge to these children, so they, like you said, so they don't fall for the fun flam. The more you know, the more you grow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Hey, Reg Davis, respect to you, fam. Happy Black History Month.
Condolences, bro,
Yes, sir.
from the
Yes,
bottom of
sir.
my heart
Much love,
to you and your fam, bro.
peace, love, understanding, and strength to you and the family, my man.
Indeed.
Yes, yes. What motivated you to write a leadership column for the Herald, Reverend?
Different voices
Hmm.
are needed. I'm an activist. Uh, and so, what I got to say, everybody didn't want to hear. Uh, but that's to be expected if you have a positive message. And I encourage everyone
Hmm.
today to wake up. Uh, it's fine to be an activist. And I face resistance for what I was saying. And
Hmm.
actually, uh, some people attacked our home. Uh, there was, my children thought it was gunfire,
Hmm.
but it must have been paintballs. We found out later.
Oh,
But there was paint all over our home. But those are scars of when you're advocating.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And that's what we need to do in this hour. And I want to give a shout out to Dr. Theodore Yarbrough
Yes, sir.
because
Sir.
he has been advocating uh, for a long time in our community. And people need to stand. That's why I wrote that.
I hear you. It's definitely good to have somebody that's giving a voice to the voiceless. They always try to paint our community in a different light than what it really is. And it's good to have somebody that was there to control the narrative and add the real viewpoint to what really goes on in our community. Um, how did your role as president JAH Kente International evolve?
Joel Kente International, we wanted everyone
Mhm.
to know the greatness of Africa.
Yes, sir.
I'm uh, like right now, I'm working on a piece about the Hamian, the the women
Mhm.
warriors that were there, the Mino, and these women were hunting elephants,
Say it.
and they would ring a bell when these warrior women were coming, and the people would move and make way for these warrior women. That was part of the Benin. The Benin, and I was in a museum, and I said to my lovely wife, I said, look at this. These are the Benin bronze. But yet, these Benin bronze were here on loan from Great Britain,
From Europe,
Mm.
stolen.
stolen legacies.
Hmm.
But I'm here to tell you that people spoke up about this, and the French are returning the Benin bronze back to their rightful home. So you can't sit there quiet when injustice is occurring.
No, not at all. You gotta be the voice for the voices.
Yes.
Um, it's crazy to me that in this current administration that they're trying to give asylum to Afrikaners, Caucasian Africans that took and misappropriated the land there. They're trying to give them asylum in the United States of America. Like it makes absolutely no sense to me. Um,
Well, if you don't know your history, and this is one reason why in the school districts they do not want history taught.
Mm-mm.
Uh, Even though it was his story,
Mm-hmm.
we never tell our story. And we look at the Association for the Study of African American Life
Mm-hmm.
and History and its founder. There's a book called Fugitive Pedagogy. And in it, he talks about in the segregated South, the superintendents, the white superintendents, their role was to make sure that Black history was not taught.
Mm.
And so when they came, the teachers stopped teaching it while they were there. And once they left, they returned to teaching the Black history. Uh, because to know where you've been, where your people have been, it would help you to know the
Where you're going.
value.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. And where you're going, and your
Yes,
capability.
yes,
That's
yes.
right.
And that's one another reason why I became engaged in Jaw Kente International. There's more than 60 countries in Africa. And look at some people tell me, oh, that Africa was a country. But
They don't know.
That's why I say
They
fat shout
don't
out to
know.
Mr. Walter Moody
Yes,
for
sir.
bringing Afro American history to Farrell and making it teachable and putting it down there for us more than just the typical. Hey, we watching Roots. Nah,
Nah.
we learned about black cowboys and a whole lot of stuff. So shout out to Mr. Moody.
Yeah, and another integral part was growing up in a black household. If you had Jet magazine, those encyclopedias that you could order from the back of Jet magazine came in handy. And when they put stuff in there that you didn't know about, you had access to that information through encyclopedias.
Yeah, they don't even, and that was back day when every black home I know, probably every home, but I know for
Mm-hmm.
the blacks, we had encyclopedias
Pedias,
and
yeah.
thesaurus in that
our
house on the
home,
bookshelf somewhere, and that stuff was in it, and a big dictionary.
Yep.
You don't really see that inside the homes no more. You know what I mean?
You
Oh,
got it right palm of your hand.
everything is in the palm of your hand.
Yep.
I get it, but like, yeah, reading was always, like we said, fundamental, but now critical and crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta read.
that was one of my highlights when I went to the DeSauvo Museum
Mhm.
of Black History in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I had one friend, and I'm writing about her right now, but when I went to Chicago, she would take me to Johnson Publishing Company,
Dang.
where Jet and
Ebony.
Ebony,
Yep.
and then
Man.
we would go to the DeSauvo Museum,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would go to Bronzeville, Gladys Luncheonette, uh, because we got to know our histories
Yes.
and know that we've had entrepreneurs and we need to continue with that. And everyone needs to have at least three streams of income coming into their household.
Facts.
Yes. We all
I'll tell
Yes.
you, I'll
say
tell
that,
you
man.
one moment when I went to the University of Pittsburgh bookstore
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
and they gave me a check for selling my books. Uh, and that's what we need to do. We need to turn this around.
Yeah, you can even use Wake Up Youth and anybody else, not just the youth. Wake up, people. You can use AI and get them some information, and an AI can write you a book, and then you just go get it published. It's
No, no, no.
multiple ways to eat and all that stuff. I'm
This,
telling you.
the stories come from AI. I use it to enhance and correct my grammar and punctuation. But good stories come from the heart, and you can dictate to the AI and have it write it. And but yeah,
And that was one great moment because I just loved Africa and I
yes,
would
sir.
tell uh, the stories of Africa. But then one day I realized, just like with uh, Nelson Mandela in South Africa, because we call him Tata.
Uh-huh.
Well, I said, well, I wanted to publish a story about Tata.
That's it.
Right.
So I came out with my book, Lion Pride.
Dope.
Let's go.
Dope. Gotta love it. And Rev, What does your position as vice president of Black Men of Progress entail? And what are the organization's goals?
Well, Black Men for Progress is about advocacy
Mhm.
uh, for our community. And it was just so important. And that's why I was so happy to come here and to see, as Sterling Brown would say, strong Black men keep a coming. And that is our goal because I'm an elder and I want to see my students to rise.
For sure.
And
Oh,
we're elders in training,
yep.
and we realize and recognize that, you know, we are elders in training, but now is our time, and we need to be in a position to take on that role and receive the baton to keep the good marathon going. Because it's definitely
Indeed,
not a
right.
race; it's definitely a marathon. So
Well,
we
I'm
greatly
going to give that
appreciate
to
it.
you.
Thank you.
Three sources of income.
Yes, sir.
Three sources of
Yes,
income. And I'm going to ask you a month from now if you have three sources of income.
Yes, sir. And I'm definitely going to be working daily to attain that, to
yes,
tell you yes. And I'm going to tell you in advance, you know, because I'm blessed and highly favored, and I know it
indeed.
to be true.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. It's
You see,
coming.
your work influenced one of your students, the man that produces the show. He's writing his own scripts right now.
Yeah.
The TV shows. I'm trying to get there. But his storylines, I'm reading them, and it's almost back to me being a child. Reading comic books, I could see everything because his writing technique is so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this. I was in the Washington, D.C. Expo
Yes,
Center,
sir.
and I was looking out, and it was all glass, the wall.
Hmm.
And I was looking out from there, but I wasn't satisfied with that. I went over to a publisher and I shook his hand and I introduced myself. And I said, I have a book that I want published. And he said, all right. He said, send me three chapters. And I got it to him.
Right
And that was my African American family guide to tracing
there. Mm.
our roots. And he said to me, where are you from?
Hmm.
I said, Farrell, Pennsylvania. And he said, I want to tell you something. He said, all these people that were in here,
Hmm.
he said, you was the only one that stepped up to the plate.
Yes,
And that's what we all got to do
yep.
is step up to the plate.
Yes, sir.
Seize that opportunity.
Hmm. I was always told by my grandpa, closed mouth don't give in.
I tell people every time, like, when you from Furrow and you go other places, you step into a room,
Mm-hmm.
I everyone that I've talked to just from Furrow and went other places, and they we always got that glow, a special
A
thing
tendency to
about
shine.
us. You know what I mean? And people
Charisma.
are drawn to us. So
Yep.
we are God's special people, anointed people from here. And I'm not even gonna say little because ain't nothing we do
Well,
little in big old Furrow, PA.
well,
That's right.
I do believe that this is our hour.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
People from Washington, D.C., they said the Library of Congress is there. Why would you leave the Library of Congress and go back to Farrell, Pennsylvania? But you see, I'm the director,
Yep.
Yeah.
and,
Yes, sir.
and it's our hour to shine.
Time to shine.
Yes, sir. And then the city has recently got back the ownership of the State and Event Library. That's a great thing.
They're the
You
city
want
of
to talk
Pearl.
about that? Like, I know that was a good thing.
Well, I want to thank Mayor Doss and the city manager,
Mr.
Mr.
Sean
Sean
Anderson.
Anderson,
Yep.
and I
Sir.
want to thank City Council.
Yeah, everyone on
But
City
yeah,
Council.
but I want to thank all of the people of Farrell,
Beautiful
Yeah.
city of Pearl.
Pennsylvania,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
because without a vision, the people shall perish. And the people of Farrell have a vision, and they're standing strong. And I'm humbled to be here with them.
Well, we're definitely glad to have you as one of the elders in the community imparting knowledge on to our youth and to us. Because as my man Mark say, adults need a village too. Like, and the more we know, the more we can access and help with the next generation.
Because we have cell phone and computer classes
Mm,
for the elders,
mhm.
Mhm.
and they're coming.
And that's a beautiful thing to be able to still utilize the community library. Um, but genealogy, what would you say is one of the most rewarding aspects of genealogy?
To know that information and empowerment, it flows. There's a river that flows inside of us,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's a river of life. And when we can tap into that, we will know. I remember my great uncle said to me, he said, "Boy, don't you know?" This was a pivotal moment in
Mhm.
my search. He said, "You come from teachers, uh, preachers, and business people, and that's who you're to be."
Hmm.
And in the church, we would call that prophesying. But genealogy is a way of speaking positive vibes into our young people's lives.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. What projects and initiatives are you currently excited about that you're working on?
Well, right now, I'm working on for the Encyclopedia of Harlem Renaissance.
Hmm.
I'm writing about A. Philip Randolph, the national newspapers, the Pittsburgh Courier. Uh, I'm writing about the arts and the Caramoo House and how Langston Hughes and all of these artists came out of Cleveland.
Mm.
I'm writing about women and black women in the library professions that we're working on the Underground Railroad tour.
Oh,
We're
Oh man.
I want to go to that one time.
Yeah. Because most people don't know locally, the Underground Railroad ran through this area.
Hmm.
And people are unaware at times about that.
well, and that the Underground Railroad tour represents, I always talk about uh, to have the courage of your convictions, and that there were people, both white and black, that had the courage of their conviction. But the individuals that had the most courage were those who were running away from slavery.
Yes, sir. Yeah. To go into the great unknown, not knowing when you've been forced into servitude basically for your whole existence, to go somewhere different might be one of the scariest thoughts that the slaves had to face.
Absolutely. And looking forward, what legacy do you hope to leave behind in your areas of work?
The legacy. The greatest legacy is the children of Farrell,
Yes, sir.
Pennsylvania. That is the greatest legacy. And I can see them as presidents.
Hmm.
I can see them as doctors and engineers. And I can see them having a Black Tulsa in
Ooh,
In
Farrell,
Farrell, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
And that's what I've been saying.
sir.
I've been saying that I want to see our community grow in such an aspect that we're a base model for all other communities to do what we get ready
And
to do.
what I would say is, I want my legacy to be, let's arise
Yes, sir.
and build.
Yes,
For
sir.
sure.
And here on the Farrell Podcast, when people come on, we like to give everyone not only their flowers, but also gifts.
Yes,
And today is no other different day. And we like to present you with a token of our appreciation and gifts.
indeed.
We greatly appreciate you for
Thank
taking
you
the
for
time out
all that you
to come
do
on.
for our community, sir. Um, and I'll leave you with this question. I always ask this question. Um, if you had a time machine or the ability to go back and talk to your 16-year-old self, what would be some words of wisdom that you would impart upon yourself?
I would say stay focused on the prize and don't let anybody talk you out of greatness. Because one person told me when I was that age
Hmm.
that you aren't going anywhere in life. And I wish he would have been there when I was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, yeah. Showing improving is the best revenge sometimes.
Kill him with success.
That black
Yeah.
excellence.
With success, and we always got to have the love of God.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Indeed, that's the most important thing right there.
Amen. Amen.
And thank you for this.
We greatly appreciate you for
Well,
coming
we
on.
definitely appreciate
This, you all right.
Uh,
Thank you.
fat shout
Thank you,
out
Reverend
to
Barksdale.
Dr. Yarborough.
Yes.
Fat shout out to our brother KB. Rest in peace
Yep.
to our
PK.
forever.
Go Eagles. That's the one thing I wanted to say. That's why I was
Eagles,
happy the Eagles won
Wu
the Super
Tang,
Bowl.
Wu Tang up in the building for our
Yes,
brother
sir.
BK and BK. Your Eagles did it. Fly, Eagles fly.
Yep.
I know you shining down and was happy, just as happy.
Indeed.
You know when your Eagles pulled in the victory for the lovely Super Bowl championship. So fat shout out to the fellas. Fat shout out to my nephew, Encyclopedia E.
Yes, sir.
Love you, greatly appreciate you. You know, we keep you in mind all the time, brother. So thank you. Thank you for everyone for tuning in.
Yep.
All our subscribers. Thank you to all our sponsors. Talbot's Tap Room and Terrace. Felix at La Palmas.
And the good people at the Mercer County
NAACP.
NAACP. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. We thank you and greatly appreciate you. To the people in the city of Farrell, we thank you for all that you continue to
Hmm.
do, your great support. We just thank everyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm running Lamont. If I had 1,000 times, I can never thank you enough.
Enough.
He always weird me out for saying that.
Let's,
But
let's, let's, in closing, let's do this together. Power to the people.
when you
When you
see
see
me,
me, you see
see
you.
you. And here at the Farrell Podcast, we want to motivate, educate, inspire, and entertain.
Entertain. Thank y'all for tuning in for this episode. Reverend Roland Barksdale-Hall, thank you for imparting knowledge. We're gonna have to run this back again though, because we got a whole lot more questions. We need a whole lot more knowledge. So
Actually, we're
Uh,
gonna have to come down to the library
yeah,
and shoot a live show down at the library just to bring in some of the youth so the youth can start participating into that program.
yep,
You know, we figure we self promote that and possibly do it in a time to where the kids can come by and participate. We can attract some kids to listen to the promo. You know, I got a lot of kids that walk down this hill, Romer.
and
You know, I'll put a bug in their ear and we'll line something up. But that's very important that we can pull them
yeah,
in so they can tap into the resources of the library and start working on that app.
yeah,
I think that's very viable. We can show them means of a way to get funds. You know what I mean? And those
show.
is residual funds. We can
Mm-hmm.
teach them about residual money. That's the
Yep.
money that you get in your sleep. You know what I
Well,
mean?
you just sit there.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to teach them, like you said, other avenues and means to get money. Because
Show.
everybody may not go to college. Or you can go to college and that can be extra funds for you to get money. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So
you can
that's
make
very important.
$200, $300
See,
a
that's what I'm
week.
talking about.
Uh-huh.
We got that.
Extra.
If not the kids, I'm coming down.
Oh yeah.
Adults can come and learn that stuff too.
Exactly.
You can learn this how to do the apps and then teach it to your child at home.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta partake in that resource and learn and come down and we're fully want to be a part of that and participate
Yes.
in getting information out there. So
'Cause
Yeah.
we're modeled as Timbuktu. There was great libraries of Timbuktu
Yes, sir.
mhm.
and in Carthage and Alexandria.
Hey,
And
hey.
the oppressor
Yeah.
always destroys the libraries and the books
First.
Mm-hmm.
What did
and
the president do in his first week?
disrupt the
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Good
We
old
got to get
tactic.
back.
But before we depart, I want to send a fat shout out to Mr. Wilson. When I went down this afternoon to talk to my aunt Tracy, and I was trying to make sure I
Yeah.
gave you the right address, 1060. Well, I did. You're here.
Yes.
But I talked to Mr. Wilson, and he said he's developing a program. He was talking about the drums, that he's not only the children,
Uh-oh.
but adult participants too can come down because he said he wants to pass that off.
Hot
And
dog.
I'm gonna be down there to learn how to play the message in the Congo drums. Because there's a message in every drum beat.
And I'm seriously about to come down there and have you educate me and my son about these apps,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
for sure.
because if anything, you know, I could teach it to the children and to my family, my nieces and
Mhm.
nephews. So I'm about to apply it on all this. So I'm gonna get with you and I'm gonna come learn about the apps myself, if
And
anything.
and if anything, yeah, build the Farrell Podcast app. It's coming soon.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
let's go. Thank you. And thank you for tuning. Mr. Barksdale, you got anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Well, Frederick Douglass said, where there is no struggle, there is no progress. And so it's all right, uh, but we got to struggle so there will be progress in Farrell. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Like the kids say, bars.
Right. And that will conclude this episode of the Farrell Podcast, Season 3, Episode
So,
5.
sir.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll check you guys out on our next episode. Peace out and much love.
One love always.